Good afternoon. I am Andrea Chisholm with the Midday News. A special welcome if you're watching on onespotmedia.com. Following the Supreme Court's ruling last Friday that the National Identification and Registration Act was null and void and of no legal effect, Jamaicans are now waiting for the government to announce the way forward. TVJ's O'Shane Masters reports.
What's next? The question on many minds after the National Identification and Registration Act was struck down on Friday in the Supreme Court. Speaking on TVJ Smile Jamaica on Monday morning, General Secretary for the People's National Party, PNP, Julian Robinson, says the court's ruling is not only a victory for the Jamaican people, but a victory in the upholding of the law and the Constitution. But despite the victories, the opposition is hoping that the government will not go the route of appealing the ruling of the Supreme Court.
I hope they don't take the route of appealing the ruling, which will go to the Court of Appeal, could go to Privy Council and drag on for years.
Do you get the feeling that's what's going to happen?
I don't know. We haven't heard
yet.
They said they're reviewing, and I suppose maybe in the course of this week we'll hear something.
He says what is needed now is for the government to have dialogue with the opposition on the way forward.
What they need to do is sit down with the opposition, refer the matter to a joint select committee, have consultations, deal with the aspects of the bills that are offensive and which breach the Constitution, and let us work together to come up with something which upholds the Constitution and the rights of the Jamaican people. Did you do that?
Information on the NIDS was not only limited to standard personal details such as names and addresses. Biometric data, including blood type, vein pattern, retina or iris scan, were also included. O'Shane Masters, TVJ News.
Long-serving Member of Parliament Mike Henry is welcoming all challengers who wish to unseat him as the JLP's flag bearer for Central Clarendon. The seat is seen as a safe seat for the Labour Party. But following a swing to the JLP in East Portland, a seat seen as a safe seat for the PNP, is Mr. Henry worried about a similar fate for him and his party in Central Clarendon?
No, I didn't learn anything from Portland because I only operate one way politically. You win by one, you lose by one. And therefore you don't deal with it on the basis of who's green, pink, blue or Irish, right? You deal with people, you begin with people. And if you're serving people, then you must also have the trust. What politics needs today is a rebuilding of trust between the people and their leadership. All I'm saying is people have been trying to challenge me for 9 elections now. I welcome a challenge. I welcome the issues that have to be addressed. I can only remind you that in the years that I have served, unlike East Portland, when I came here we had no hospital. When I came here we had no market. When I came here we didn't have 90% of the housing schemes.
Agriculture Minister Audley Shaw says persons previously employed to the Money Musk Sugar Factory in Clarendon have been paid. The group had been out of work since the factory closed months ago. The government had therefore set aside funds to assist the workers in meeting their commitments. However, prior to the payments being made, there were threats of protests after word emerged that the funds might be late. The Agriculture Minister, however, blamed elements in the opposition PNP for causing mischief.
They by then had become aware that the money would be paid on the Friday. So it was just plain, downright, raw politics, right? And the indecent type of politics too. When they went and hurriedly put together a press conference because they were well aware that the farmers were about to get their money. So calling the press conference now, they'll be able to go around and tell the farmers, see, it's because we have the press conference, why you get the money on Friday. But listen, I think the farmers and the people of Jamaica are wisening up. That is an old-time sort of politics that takes people for fools, right? But see, the change is beginning. Look at East Portland.
There's a call this afternoon for more work to be done to help eradicate rats in St. James. According to the St. James Health Department, there's need for the zoning of vendors. The Health Department says this will help in the reduction of rats as it will eliminate or reduce the number of street vendors. Chief Public Health Inspector in St. James, Lennox Wallace, says more work needs to be done to educate vendors before there's prosecution.
Practices does not change overnight. Does not. So we go, we educate, We do these things, we close, we prosecute. So until the habits change. And there are certain things that we need to do differently. Here, in this facility, that things that we are discussing outside of this council. Because as far as we can't have an unlimited number of vendors, it is just not going to work. Just like we can't have an unlimited number of motor cars.
Mr. Wallace was speaking at the recent monthly meeting of the St. James Municipal Corporation. Mourners packed the University Chapel of the University of the West Indies Mona campus in St. Andrew to bid their final farewell to veteran broadcaster Dorraine Samuels. Dorraine died on March 26 after battling cancer. She had a near 40-year career spanning radio and television. Chief Executive Officer of the RGR Gleaner Communications Group, Gary Allen, remembered her as one who would always look out for the community.
She had a strong sense of service to the community, exhibited through her work with projects such as the one she did with Mrs. Hazel Monteith and the Citizens Advice Bureau. Actually, that led to the formation of the Citizens Advice Bureau and its project that continues.
Meanwhile, her daughter Melissa Rickards Joseph said Dorraine never compromised her duties as a mother despite the demands of her job.
No matter how demanding the work scene got, she made it a point of duty that she would play just as hard as she worked. And as such, many of the out-of-town broadcasts turned into mini vacations. What really stood out that while growing up is we saw that tower of strength, that no matter what came rushing at Mommy, she would always look for a solution.
11-year-old Malik Walters of Frankfield, Clarendon drowned yesterday afternoon in the Rio Minnow. Malik and two of his friends went swimming when they got into difficulty. One of the first persons to offer assistance to Malik was a 10-year-old boy.
I run come down here and then me walk around and me take little ear, then me dive off in the water to try to save him. But he go down and he bring me down too, and then me come up, me hold his hands in the air, and then I hold the rock, and the rock slip and he let me go.
I took off my clothes, went inside, but when I went inside, I couldn't stand up, nappy, swim around and took him out.
For the Frankfield Division, Clive Mundell, is therefore calling for residents to be trained on how to perform cardiopulmonary resuscitation CPR. He believes that if more persons in the area could do CPR, Malik may not have died.
CPR, then actually things would be better, because a lot of time we think that people are dead, but they are not dead. It's only because we don't have the techniques and we don't have the training to administer the necessary CPR to revive them. Everybody thought he was dead. So when they went and gave him CPR, I heard that he opened his eyes and then like he coughed up some water.
Persons on the scene say after Malik was removed from the river, it took about half hour before someone performed CPR. It was later realized that the 11-year-old was alive. He was rushed to the Spalding Hospital by the police, where he later died. Two Jamaicans who have been living in Barbados illegally were handed over to the immigration officials last week after admitting to assaulting a Jamaican woman in Barbados. Shelley Ann Welcome and Olivia Thompson pleaded guilty when they appeared in court. It's reported that the Jamaicans assaulted the woman at a bus stop in Bridgetown. An immigration officer informed the magistrate that Welcome arrived in Barbados on September 24, 2018 and was granted 6 months as a visitor in the care of a man with a St. George's address. Her status expired last month and she has not regularized it. The court heard that Thompson had been residing in Barbados illegally since 2017. And in sports, title holders Portmore United and Waterhouse will be looking to drive home their respective advantages in the second leg semi-final matches in the Red Stripe Premier League this evening at the National Stadium. But Mount Pleasant Academy and Cavalier are seeing their glasses as half empty and will be hoping to have a full say at the end of their second leg matches. We have more in this report.
Only a goal separates Portmore United from Mount Pleasant Academy following the defending champions' 2-1 victory in their first leg semi-final match. But Portmore would tell you it's better to be the hunted than the hunter in this instance. With little breathing space between the two teams, it could come down to who makes the least mistakes.
It's just for us now to be positive with our play, being more focused and less giveaways. And just stay focused to see out the game.
Mount Pleasant are built on defense and are the worst attacking of the 4 remaining teams. But General Manager David Galloway says something has to give.
And if we want to find ourselves in the finals, we have to put in more than what we are doing now. And that is to, when we get the chances to score the goals, we score them.
They are at least 90 minutes away from the final, but don't mention that to either team. Cavaliers' task of overturning their deficit is a bit more difficult, as whatever they do, they must win by 3 clear goals if they're to get the job done in the next 90 minutes. But then again, never count a man out before the lights fade.
If my mother was here, she'd tell you that I'm a fighter. I never give up. I never say die. So going to this game, my mindset will be that always fight and helping my team as best as possible. And I hope my teammates have that same mentality.
As quick as we can blink, and the 2-goal cushion can be lost. But we're very much going to put on the ascendancy to solidify our place going to the final come the 29th of April.
Waterhouse and Cavalier will get the ball rolling at 5:30 p.m. before Portmore United do battle against Mount Pleasant Academy starting at 8:35. Jermaine Brown reporting for TVJ Sports.
And that's the midday news. I'm Andrea Chisholm. Join us at 7 for the primetime news package. On behalf of the news, sports and production teams, good afternoon.